here for our student athletes to start us off. Right here in front, Ken. Give me 1 sec, yeah. Thanks.
Matthew Travis, KPLC. For both of you guys, we'll start with Christian. We talked yesterday, but just talk about the excitement of physically being here, and you guys are about to practice here again.
I mean, it's very exciting. I'm glad to be here for another year, and grateful to have the opportunity to be here once again. And you know, we were excited to be here, but we're excited to play. We're gonna go out and practice today and get a feel for the environment, and you know, just start to get things flowing and get in the mindset to play and win some games. And you know, yeah, we are excited to be here.
Thanks, Christian. Anything on that, Javon?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, like Christian said, like we were excited to come back this year, and this year we want to win some games. We're gonna be practicing today, getting a feel for the court, and then later on we're gonna practice, just work on ourselves and see what like the team that we play, what type of stuff they run and stuff like that. So we're excited.
Thank you. Got one here in front right.
Jim Gazzolo, American Press. For both of you guys, how much has last year's experience kind of given you kind of the better feel for coming into this game?
Go ahead, Christian, if you're ready.
Well, last year it was good to get the experience, and you know, your whole life you kind of look forward and dream of moments like that, and when you get to them, you feel as if that's what you were waiting for the whole time. And being able to have that experience is kind of it's great to have had that experience, but you almost are unsatisfied after having it, especially when you get the opportunity again, because you want more, and we got a lot of guys on the team who strive more and want to do great things. And so now it's good to have had that experience, but you know, we just hungry. We got a lot of guys, me, JG, everybody else on the team is just thirsty to win, thirsty to play again, and just thirsty to have some more time together around each other and make more moments happen.
Anything on that, Javon?
Yeah, like just going off what Christian said, like this year we like more hungry. Last year it was definitely an experience to come here and play, but this year we want to make something, like make a run and win some games this year and just be around each other more and just have fun.
Thank you. Right here in front.
Matthew Travis, KPLC. Christian, for you, last year you guys went up against a tall, physical Gonzaga team. This team is very similar. They have 5 players 6'9" or above. So how did you learn from that going into this, going up against physical team?
Yeah, it was. We learned a lot about our team from that game, and I think moving forward from that point and building our team this year, we kind of had that in the back of our minds, and knowing that was what it was like to play one of those teams. And we had a lot of tests early on in the out-of-conference to kind of set ourselves up for success within the last year's Gonzaga game earlier on in the season. And I think we've done a better job of preparing for the outcome of something like that happening. And I mean, I think we're something that we can match. We're something that we can overcome. It's something that we can adjust to. And now that, like you said, last year we've experienced something like that, I think we're prepared, and we're like I said earlier, we're hungry to meet the challenge. We're hungry to try to overcome it.
Thank you. Right here in the middle.
Eric Rube with the Providence Journal. I'm wondering if you guys can kind of go into the Amir thing a little bit. Just obviously the viralness of it, and how did it start? I mean, is this something is he the character that or whoever he is on, in all these videos? Is that who he is? What he was, and how has it kind of helped, get this program excited about playing basketball?
Sorry. Yeah, I got you. I feel like it happened like they just recorded him one day, but he been doing it every game. Like no one ever seen it, but he's like the same person every day. Like he's an amazing person to be around. He always comes around and tries to cheers everyone up, on and off the court. Like he's just an amazing type of person, and he's a good person to be around. It definitely, the hype is like real now that he's hyping everyone up and has our university like really big right now, and I just feel like I just love it for him just because the type of person he is.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was kind of just gonna say the same thing. That's definitely who Amir is. Ever since we've been around Amir, he's always been the same person and always, uplifting everybody around him. Super goofy, and he's just that's who he is. He's a funny person. And one day, it was just a clip of what we do all the time, and it caught on. It was super viral, and it was just everybody got a chance to see him how we see him, and that was basically the story. His game? He's nice. Amir nice. He can put the ball in the cup.
Thanks. Back right, please.
Christian back here. Brennan Quinn from The Athletic. I would imagine after last season, you probably had some options to maybe move up to high major if you wanted to, and you obviously decided to run it back. I wonder what kind of went into that decision. Why were you comfortable staying at McNeese? And if whatever you're willing to share about kind of you going through the choice of like weighing, what went into that?
I was happy. I was happy with my teammates, my coaches. I love the city. I love my coaches. I love my teammates. And, I just couldn't find a reason to run from happiness, I was fine where I was, and I just felt comfortable making that decision.
Hey, Chapel Fowler with the State. A question for both you guys. Just what about Will Wade drew you to come play for him, and what makes him such a good coach in your mind?
I would say like his loyalty is definitely number one. Knowing like we come, me and Christian came from different schools, and loyalty is like a big thing in this college, like the college universities, and he wins. So like it's hard to not play for a coach that wins and he's loyal to you, and he will do anything for you to make sure you're straight after this and during like when you're with him. And I say that goes a long way.
Yeah, kind of the same thing. The last question was kind of going into this one as well, like my answer. Loyalty means a lot to a lot of people, and that's kind of how I look to be. And there were people around us and our team and our coaching staff. We all were loyal to each other, and everybody kind of fit in together, and we had something good going. So it's kind of easier when you realize those things. And as far as Wade, all of those things apply to him in our relationship that he has with everyone, and that's kind of what you look for most, and when you want to find somebody that you play for.
Thank you. Up here in front. Okay. Got time for probably two more.
John Blau with the Post and Courier, just following up on Coach Wade. He's a Clemson alum. Is that something that's been mentioned at all? I think he talked about you guys don't practice on Clemson football game days. Like, is that something that's meaningful to you guys to play as alma mater?
Definitely, it's definitely been a thing. He told us how bad he wants this win, and we just been taking it all in. Like everyone as a team, been practicing real heavy, knowing what's on stake, and it's also Coach Burns, alum too. So they've been definitely telling us about it. We definitely gotta get the win for them guys.
Thank you. Take one last one here in front. Or we get two. Sorry.
And for both of you guys, JG, for you first, when talking to Heath Schroyer yesterday, he called this trip a little more business-like. Would you agree with that and kind of expand on how this trip feels a little more business-like for you guys?
It definitely feels a lot different from last year. I said before in the press back in Lake Charles, after the game last year we was all excited just to be here, but this game we all had one goal. We was like, oh, we're not done yet. Like, we want to win games here, and it can change everyone's life after we win a few games. And just like we all know what's up and like what's up for grabs, and he's got to take advantage of it.
Pete, yeah.
From ESPN, I was going to ask a similar question about last year, and just is there some power into going where you went through last year and it ended so fast, and then in the way that it did? Did that stick with you?
Yeah, I would say it does. You know, you got a glimpse of a great experience, but you just know that it could be so much more. So I think it kind of just leaves you with a feeling of one more, like I kind of said earlier. And you know, it's always great to have the experience, but kind of like JG was just saying, it's last year we thought it was enough to have the opportunity, and this year is more so business, and there's just a overall different mindset from last year's time and this year's time, and you know, confidence-wise, mindset-wise, you know, everybody's just ready. Everybody has the same goals. Everybody thinks that we can achieve the same things as far as behind our walls, and we're ready to show that.
Thanks, Christian. We'll take one more if there's out there. If there's no other questions, you guys are all. I'll take one more right here in front.
You guys hear the rumors of your coach and all that. How have you guys stayed focused through all that?
Coach Wade, he always tells us, like, don't worry about the outside noise. We just worried about, like, what's going on now. And we're going to take one day at a time, one game at a time, and just play it like it's our last. Like, we don't care what's, like, what everything else is going on with that type of stuff. So we're just going to worry about, like, what's going on now.
Yeah, I mean, we got a game to win tomorrow, so that's first.
Ellis, thanks so much. You're all set. Good luck tomorrow. Thank you. We'll be joined here with Coach Wade in about 3 minutes or so. What's up? What? I have no. No, I have no. Yes. That's no way. That's amazing. That's yeah. I want to see that. That's right. Thank you. Probably like 1 minute. Probably wait for like 1 minute. Yeah. If everyone's settled and all set, we can bring up Coach Wade. Yeah, let her rip. Thanks, Coach. Once Coach is settled here, happy to take some questions. Someone's got to have something out there. Go here in front. Let's get a mic up here.
Matthew Travis, KPLC. Coach, you've talked a lot about this year is different. When talking to Heath yesterday, he called it more business-like. Could you expand on, now that you guys are here, how this year feels a little different than last year?
Well, I think last year everything was so new to everybody. I think once we made the NCAA tournament, we hadn't been in a long time. Everybody just kind of exhaled. And I think now, you know, the kids who came back, we brought back over half the roster. We added some new guys, and I think they all understand that, you know, we want to do more this coming season. So I think everybody's obviously still excited. I mean, it's hard to be here. It's hard not to get excited when it's hard to get here, and it's hard not to be excited when you get here. But I think everybody understands that, hey, we really want to, you know, try to win a game or two and try to advance in this thing. And it's not just so giddy about just getting here. Last year we were just giddy about being here, and it was almost like like a field trip. And this year is much more, about our business and about, hey, let's see if we can do the things we need to do to try to win a game. Or maybe more than one, but we'd start at 1.
If you got another one, go ahead. Here, wait for Mike real quick. Thanks.
Obviously, a lot of physicality on Clemson, 5 guys over 6'9" or above. So how do you guys handle that, and what did you learn from that Gonzaga game that you can apply tomorrow night?
We'll see. I mean, we need to be better against it than we were last year. So I mean, look, there's just a difference in the levels. It's like, football. The difference between FCS is on the line of scrimmage, right? So, basketball, it's the big guys. So we're a little smaller, quicker. We've got to try to play to our advantages while they're going to try to play to their advantages, which is just pound the ball inside and annihilate us in the paint. And so, we've got to try to, play to what our advantage would be, which would be somewhat of maybe having some quickness. But, I mean, they've got one of the premier rebounders in the country. They've got a great front line. They got a great coach. They got a great scheme. So it's a lot easier said than done.
Right here in front. Yeah, Mike up here.
Jim Gazzola, American Press. Why does everybody laugh at that?
You need no introduction.
Last year after the Gonzaga game, you said you wanted to do certain things to get to this spot, but be able to improve from this spot. Do you think you've done enough, and what else do you think you need to do?
Well, we'll find out. We've got some better positional size. We just don't have a big center because you can't win in our league with a big center. We would be sitting a kid for a long time in the league with a big old center. So, I mean, the number one goal is to get here and win the Southland. And so we've done that. I do think we've got some, better size at the 1 through the 4 than we've had. We just don't have, we don't have a center, not in a traditional sense. And so, I think we've improved along the margins. Have we improved enough? We'll see tomorrow afternoon.
Right here.
Beth Wool from Fox Carolina in Greenville. You've been open and honest and talked about your experience at Clemson, and your players talked about what this would mean and all of those different things. What is it, in a day and age where so many people are willing to go, it's about the game, you can't focus on that stuff, and kind of shy away from admitting and being honest about that sort of stuff? Why be open? Why be honest? Why share the truth?
Well, all the players know we don't practice when Clemson plays football. I mean, they know they got those 3 hours on a Saturday. They know. I mean, so they all know I'm a Clemson. I mean, they joke with me about it, and we had to change our pregame schedule up around the ACC title game this year. It took them too long to kick the damn field goal. I mean, they all know that. I mean, look, I've always been at, I'm at an FCS football school now. I was at VCU for a while, who had no football. Now, it was a little hairy when LSU played Clemson for the national title when I was at LSU. But I mean, they all know that. I mean, that's the one kind of reprieve I have, is I like watching their football program play. So it was no secret. It was no secret to them. One of my assistants is one of the all-time great players at Clemson. He's still top 5 in steals at Clemson. I was a manager. He was obviously a player. I always joke in recruiting between the two of us, we scored over 1,000 points. He just scored them all. So he's a big Clemson guy. So our guys know that. But that's not going to, I mean, look, I follow the basketball program, and baseball, loosely, not as close as football. So they all know that. But I mean, I graduated in 2005, so I'm a relic. So I mean, it won't be any different when we're playing them. It's the first time I've played against them. As an 05 granted, please don't call us. Oh, okay. Well, sorry. We're hitting our stride then.
Right here in the middle.
Eric Rube with the Providence Journal. You just mentioned yourself being a manager. I wanted to ask about your manager, who's gotten a certain amount of viral fame. And is the person we see on screen or on our phones, who is he behind the scenes, and what has he done to kind of help elevate this program a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, first off, he's a servant leader in the sense that, you know, when I was a manager at Clemson, you're at a bigger school, you've got some scholarship money you can divvy out. We're at McNeese. We have no scholarship money. This is strictly volunteer. And when we got the job, we had no managers. We had nothing. And so he volunteered, and you know, he gets there at 5:36 in the morning every morning, and he's working hard. I joked with him. He messed up. He never messes up. He's our clock guy, which is the hardest thing to do in practice because you got to know all the different scoring with each of the drills. Stuff. He messed up the clock the other day. I said, "Man, all this fame's getting to your head, so you got to buckle in." But no, he's just a great kid. Comes from a great family. His father's a doctor in town, and it's been surprising. I mean, you know, I'm not watching when we go out. I'm back in the back doing like my breathing exercises and stuff while they're doing all that. So I didn't even know anything about it until PJ, who's in here now, our social media guy. I guess he filmed it, and I'm not on social media either. So my special assistant shows me all the stuff, and he's like, "Hey, Amir's, you know, blowing up." But I'm happy for him. Our kids are happy for him. He's a great person. He's just a big sports fan. Like he wants to be a journalist. He wants to get into. He's graduating in sports management. You know, and he's just a big. I mean, he's just an oddity. He grew up a DePaul fan in basketball, Big East, and so he can tell you all this stuff about DePaul, and we always joke with him about DePaul basketball. But he knows a ton about sports. He follows every sport. He's just a really, really good person. He's really low key outside of the viral video, I guess.
Thanks. So cheering back.
Yeah, Chuck Culpepper from the Washington Post. What are you like when you watch Clemson play football? Do you ever rip the coaches or anything like that?
It's hard to rip Dabo, but I get nervous. Yeah, I get nervous, and I follow it. I follow the recruiting closely. I follow big recruiting weekend a couple weekends ago. I mean, I follow all that stuff. I follow all that stuff pretty closely. So I've gotten better as the years go on. Of course, winning a couple national championships helps too, but I've gotten better with it as the year goes. I'm not nearly as into it now as I was, but the further I guess I get away from graduating, I guess the less I'm into it. But I do get nervous. But no, I don't rip the coaching. I know how hard coaching is.
You're in front, Coach.
You mentioned Vern, and the other day you were talking about how he watches every Clemson game. Does that kind of help you guys with scouting, give you a leg up?
Well, Vern worked for Coach Burnell. So Vern was his GA and was an administrative assistant for him. So he worked for him when he got back playing from overseas. And so, yeah, he has a familiarity with them, certainly.
Right here in the middle, Coach.
Yes, sir.
Well, Ralph Russo from The Athletic. Do you, or how do you address, if you do, some of the chatter about your future with the program, with your players, to maybe keep them in the moment?
We address it head on. I talked to him Saturday about it. I said, here's where it is. Here's where we are. They talked about some of their portal stuff with me. We sat in a room. It was just me and our players, and we all talked about it. So I'm aware of what they've got going on. They're aware of what we've got going on, and you just hit it head on. So we're all on the same page with everything.
Right here in front, Coach.
Michael Swain from 24/7 Sports. I want to follow up on that. There's some rumors linking you to NC State specifically. Have you, your agent, anyone close to you spoken to NC State?
Yes.
Right here with Pete.
I have a macro question, Will. The reason you're on this journey back through McNeese is because of the NCAA infractions process. We're in a world that's rapidly changing. April 7th, I think, the day of the national title game, there's going to be a settlement. There's a whole new infractions process that's coming from the outside that's supposed to uphold some of the rules that they'd struggle to uphold. I'm just curious of your perspectives as you've come back to the new world we're in now.
I mean, I think that it's evolving. You know, it doesn't affect us as much at McNeese as it does at other places. But I think it's slowly evolving. You know, unfortunately through the courts, it'd have been better probably if it was done, not kind of piecemealed through the courts as we have now. If we could have just had a little foresight on some things. But, I'm all for, the student athletes having opportunities and having the ability to move around. I told our coaching staff last year, I don't want to hear any complaining about calling kids in the portal while we're at the NCAA tournament, because half the coaching staffs in the country, those assistants are trying to get other jobs too. So if they're trying to get other jobs, why can't the kids go try to get other jobs? That just makes intuitive sense to me. So, I think that it's moving in a good direction with the revenue share and the enforcement and the new enforcement. I hadn't studied the new enforcement policies all that closely, but I know there's going to be an outside entity. There's a clearinghouse and that sort of thing with the NIL deal. So it seems positive that we're going to share the revenue, and then we're going to make sure the NIL is actually NIL for the most part. So I think it's moving in a good direction.
Thanks, Coach. About 3 minutes left here. Take one in front.
Getting back to the game tomorrow, what do you guys have to do well in order to come out with a win over Clemson?
Well, we got to guard the paint, keep the ball out of the paint as best we can. We got to not turn the ball over, and we got to try to force some turnovers. Now that's easier said than done. Sounds great standing up here, but if we can keep the ball out of the paint, which would be a modern miracle, and we can value the ball and not let Zachary just take the ball from us, and then we need to force him into some turnovers where we can get out in transition and get some easy baskets. It's going to be tough sledding against their half-court defense.
I got time for one more if it's out there. Right here in the front of the.
Looks like we got two more.
All right. See if we can get them in. All right.
John Blau at the Post and Courier. The Noontime Basketball Association, do you ever play Dabo Sweeney in basketball?
No, he was an assistant there when I was there. I didn't play. I'm not a very good player, John.
Go ahead.
Chapel Fowler at the State. You mentioned addressing stuff head on with your players. You were honest with us just now. Like, where did that come from? The fact that you're so honest about other jobs, kind of taking that philosophy. Where did that start? Because that's kind of rare among coaches.
You just tell it like it is. You may not always like what I got to say, but I'm going to tell you what I think. So I've always kind of been like that, and there's no need to hide it. The guys are reading it on social media. It's no secret, and I'm not going to ask them to do something I'm not willing to do. And so, it's no good if you don't address it, and if you sit there and BS them, they know they can read right through the BS. So you might as well just, hey, this is what it is, and here we are, and we'll figure it out.
We're all set. Thanks for your time, Coach. Look, see you in the alma mater. Speaking of which, we'll be joined here 12:35 by graduate guard Chase Hunter and senior forward Ian Scheffler.